either way, I feel like some of this you might have heard before, some of it you're hearing it for the first time. But I feel like for me, what my personal strength is really capturing like the heart of what's behind how to build your clientele. There are so many brilliant things out there that will help you along your way of building your clientele, as far as like software systems and specific software systems to use, and you know, how to put yourself on top of Google's search list and things like that. I definitely tap into people who that is their expertise, and they know exactly how to do all of those things. But to me, in my career, put in a lot of hard work, a lot of hard work. And then I relocated to a new location where people actually traveled 3 hours to come see me, but then I rebuilt my clientele again a second time in a completely different situation that was more of a booth rent situation. So I have had to build in all of these different kinds of environments, and there's some things that just remain true across the board for all of these. It was a salon of about 35 to 40 hairstylists, and I saw the ones that failed as well as the ones that just were untouchable. The superstar just like overachieving, you know, and just killing it in the industry, you know. But then once your feet hit that salon floor and the inspiration comes and the creativity flows, and everything feels like magic. And at the same time, learning a ton about how to do good hair if you're just starting off in the business. So now that you know it's going to be a lot of hard work, the next thing I really want you to embrace and understand is that it's not really up to your salon owner. Even if you're working in a salon that's commission-based, you still need to be growing your own personal brand, your own business. Because let me tell you, I've tried to give my clientele away to other people and it's flopped and it hasn't worked out for them. But it's not because they didn't do great hair, but you have to have a business set in place. And now that we've established that, because I think that there is a lot of, I don't know, dare I say clickbaity type messaging that says like, build in X or do this and you'll succeed like that, you know, and that is not me. I do believe that hard work pays off, you know, and I also believe that that you can work smarter and not harder, and that you're constantly learning and growing and changing. So we'll talk about how to specifically do that and break it down a little bit more applicable, right? In an applicable way. But I feel like right now, it's just really important for you to just kind of get ready to roll up your sleeves. Now you're coming up with ideas for them for their new look and their hair journey. And just really cool things and exciting things that you are inspired by and that you're learning and the classes you're taking and where you're traveling to and things like that. And especially if you're taking this, you know how important education truly, truly is to keeping up with the times, the trends, and staying motivated, right? So don't just take the class, actually book the model. Book the model, get them in your salon the next day, because I can't tell you, I have taken, I feel like every class. I'm sure that's not true. So don't only watch and consume a lot of education, but practically apply that education that you learned. So, but if you feel like you're really showing up and showing your best work and things that you're really inspired by, and even I'm gonna take a step further, who you want your clients to be. So, you know, if this is you and you're not feeling confident, I'm just gonna circle back to that, educate yourself, right? Take the class, execute it on a model, and post it on social media, right? With all the best angles, with all the most terrible before. Saying like, I only do haircuts or I only do color, but maybe it just has a certain aesthetic and feel to it where they go, wait a minute, that's Brianna's haircut or that's Brianna's color. So if you don't feel confident in those things yet, start to think about what inspires you, take those classes, and kind of work backwards, kind of showcase already. So by you just doing someone's hair for free, it's a beautiful trade because they get free hair and you get to market yourself and really share and spread your message. Do free hair, or for lack of a better term, it would just be like take models. Take models, practice, and market, showcase, put it out there. Which brings me to my next point. It was terrifying and miserable, and I wouldn't wish it on anybody. But now we have this beautiful kind of sideways approach where we can just literally reach out to people. They can see your work once you've started posting and generating a little bit more imagery on your page and start dialing that page in. But to me, I think that the main and most important part about social media is sharing your heart, giving people things that they might not know, making it less about you and more about them. So I'm always thinking about like, what do people really need to hear or want to hear, or what should I be sharing, or what's lacking out there that I could offer something to somebody else. That's not a bad thing, but I also think that mostly consumers are looking at what's in it for them, So just bear in mind that if you are very specific about serving a certain type of client and growing a certain type of business and kind of angling yourself a certain way, you have to angle yourself a certain way to actually gain the things that you want to gain. And sometimes, it can feel like they have a lot of needs and they can ask a lot from us, which is why boundaries are really important. And you start establishing boundaries as you basically face them. But I just want to encourage you to reach out to people through DM, make it personal, message them specifically. Be specific about what you want and who you want to work with. How can I showcase who I really am, even though it's behind a lens? How can I kind of just like push that aside, not focus on that, really think about the people I'm talking to and what I want them to know about me, my clients, my business, and where I'm headed. Like, it's really, really give it all you got in the beginning, and then it does get a little bit easier as you go. Because once you have the client in your chair, now it's a matter of retaining that client, servicing that client, giving them all of yourself, and making sure that they're extremely happy with their hair. So yes, you're gonna have those clients in your chair, but there's also this little gap between getting them in your chair and then like making that booking process really easy for them. Now that you've got all of that established online, your brand, everything's beautiful, now you need to just end that, seal the deal. Yes, we're gonna hold your spot until we get back to whatever the booking system is. And if you have to follow up to make sure that they're booking for the right timing with inspiration photos and kind of some follow-up questions and things like that. Also, if you are at a salon where there is a front desk, become best friends with them. And also, I think it's just a matter of being that way for your whole salon, but it is about making sure that, because, actually some some stylists aren't that way. And they're like, you booked me someone, they could give them crap, and it's a really hard job dealing with all of the stylists and all of the clients. Now, if you don't have a front desk, or say you're in a salon suite situation, something that I think is a really cool idea. So if you've been in the industry a really, really long time, this might be something that you want to start to implement. Or if you're growing your clientele again, because it just changes the conversation. Really make sure that those pre-consultation moments that are happening, say if they're doing an application process or you're sending photos back and forth, really try to iron out exactly what it is that they need to book for and how much they need to book for before they get in there. Because if they're just booking for something like a partial weave and they have 2 hours and they're left, and maybe it's not a redo, they have bleed spots and this and that, but they just feel like it just wasn't all that I expected it to be. I try to be really honest with myself to give, my client an experience that they were expecting or exceeding their expectations. Like, you have to come in because, I'm going on vacation and you might not be able to get into me, or, 6 weeks